Hey everybody, live from Spring, Texas. It's us, Behind the Scope, with Fred and Rob here. Say hello, Fred.
Good morning, everyone.
We want to thank everybody for watching and tuning into our channel. We really appreciate you. 230,000 subscribers strong. Thank you so much. We have quite an entertaining show today. We have some controllers that are going to be talking through Zoom with us. But right now, we're kind of interested in something that happened this morning. I understand that while I was setting all this up with Malcolm and Fred, that there was a little event going on down at Mar-a-Lago. Some nutcase tried to assassinate the president again. Man, this is getting ridiculous. Tamp it down out there, man. It's got to stop somewhere. Learn to love one another. Learn to disagree, and then let the process take hold. Listen to one another. Exchange ideas. Don't be so damn adamantly opposed to everything that you hear out there. Okay, just enjoy life. It's too short, and trying to take somebody's life is terrible, terrible. Especially the president of the United States. You don't have to respect him, but you got to at least respect the office. Okay, I know the guy is not the best dinner guest you'd have, but he's making some amazing decisions for our country. So either pray for him or support him, whatever you want to do, but don't get out there and be an idiot. Okay. So anyway, Fred, you got anything for us?
Well, maybe he'll have us for dinner at Mar-a-Lago.
I don't know about that. But what else you got, Fred? Anything?
Hamburgers. I know he likes McDonald's.
Okay.
Anyways, as far as today, we have that special event over in West Palm Beach and all the events there. I'm sure they've got they probably have a permanent TFR around that area, but then they probably heightened it with the events of today.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, and that restricts the area. Being a controller over in that area must be a real challenge, as much as the tower and approach controllers, the center overlying that Florida area restricts traffic.
Yeah.
You don't want to let any kind of unknown target get into that area.
Yeah, I remember when we used to do Bush over at Kingsville. He would fly into Kingsville, and we would have the TFR over there. Nobody would be able to get around it, even though the majority of the aircraft that were flying in that area at the time were military aircraft. They were pilot training bases for the Navy, Kingsville, Navy Kingsville, and Navy New Brunswick, all of that down in that one area in South Texas. They had military operating areas that they'd go up and they would do these spin tests with their aircraft, doing any kind of training that had to do with advancing themselves to getting into one of the big Navy F-16s or F-18s that they were flying out there. But once again, Fred and I would like to welcome you. And right now, online, you can see that we have two guests. We have Stuart Smith and Gary Higginson. They're going to talk with us about their adventures in ATC. They both have lifelong careers, and you could tell Stuart over here with his gray hair, he says that's experience. I'm sure he was scaring the heck out of himself while he was controlling airplanes. He's got that one bird upside on top of his head there. Well, I can't tell. Is that a 747 that he's going up to? Because I see the bottom of that. I don't see the big whale front on it. So, and then Gary has been on the channel. He's told some stories. You might remember him with the 15,000-foot altercation between, I think it was an American heavy jet and a Mitsubishi. Is that right, Gary?
It's a Merlin, yeah.
Oh, Merlin, okay. So there we go. You guys, I'm going to turn it over to you. So whoever's got the best story, start out. Remember, the first liar doesn't stand a chance.
You're up, Stu.
Beauty before age. Okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, it's such an open field, and I had such a diverse career. There's lots of great stories, but some of them are longer than others. But I was thinking about my first UFO, possible UFO report which was fun. I was working a high altitude sector alongside Edwards Air Force Base. And at the time, the F-17 stealth fighters or 117s were brand new, and they were flying them in the restricted airspace during the day one day, and a United pilot southbound along the boundary called me and asked me about and started describing this odd aircraft that he had seen coming from his left to his right, which meant to me that this aircraft had left R-2508 and had made a turn in front of him a little outside the boundary, but they aren't on our radar because they were radar, they were built to not show up on radar, so they definitely weren't visible to me. So I had about 25 airplanes on frequencies and moderately busy for that sector at that time of day. And I turned to my my assistant, my D side, and I said, "Watch this." And so I keyed the mic and I said, "No, sir, I have no aircraft in that area. Are you reporting a UFO?" And everybody on the frequency got silent. It was quiet for a good minute. And then then he keyed the mic and he said, "That would be a negative." That was the end of that, but it was quite entertaining. I put it in the speakers so everybody at work could hear it. We all had a good chuckle, but of course we couldn't tell him what had really happened, but but we knew it. So.
And any pilot,
All right,
I was going to say, any pilot putting in a UFO report was going to be buried in paperwork.
100%.
Yeah.
So.
Hey,
And it was probably about 2 months later that they announced the F-117. So.
I'd like to remind everybody that the chat is open, so if you guys want to ask some questions, you can. Gary and Stuart, can you see the chat out there, or I would just have to ask you the questions if I get asked, right?
I opened the chat window just now. I think I'll probably get it. So.
Okay, give me a text in there, and let's make sure it's working from your end. But thank you for that little gem of a story. What do you got there, Gary? You got anything that's going to top that one?
Well, you were talking about TFRs, and in Kansas City Center, which is where I worked 3 different times, I was the airspace and procedure specialist, and a very famous peanut farmer had been elected president, and he was taking a paddle boat, and I think it was a stump tour from up in Minneapolis to St. Louis. And I had to establish a moving TFR all the way down from the Kansas City, Minneapolis boundary. And he's going to be spending the night here, and they're going to be going here, and here's the speed. And I think there were only a couple of VFR incursions, but I don't know why I didn't like the man. I didn't think he was strong enough to do the job, and here he almost made 100. But when he was running for election, they had 2 727s, Peanut 1 and Peanut 2, and he was coming into St. Louis from the east, he came out of high altitude, and I descended into flight level 180 because I had crossing traffic at 17. And I'd like to say I got busy doing something else, but the truth of the matter is I wasn't paying attention. And the crossing restriction for jets was 25 northeast of St. Louis at 8,000. And pretty soon he gets inside of Vandalia, which is, it was probably 35 miles from the crossing point. And Peanut 1 asked for lower. And how come you held us up so long? It was traffic. And I think it was a roller coaster ride for him. And there wasn't anything special about that, but mentioned TFRs and you mentioned, I don't know, Fred, you mentioned the DC-10 and the Merlin, and that was when I worked in Chicago, and I missed the readback on the American, and I thought he was climbing to 23, and he was climbing to 15, and the Merlin was at 15. And the conflict alert went off, and I really hadn't paid attention to it because I thought that the DC-10 was climbing to 230, and it scared me. I issued traffic. It was close. The Merlin said he had him. He'd go behind. The DC-10 said he had him, and we'll go ahead of him. And I backed away and told the super, I said, I think I just had a deal. And he said, you think? And I said, no, I did. And that was the worst feeling I ever had.
Yeah, we developed a story based on that. We have it online. Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Yeah, you could check it out. I think it might be it's either in season 3 or season 4. We even made some nice graphics for that particular situation. But I just want to know, how did it feel when you saw that aircraft climbing through that other aircraft and that American came back and responded? We're already out of 15.
Yeah, he was level. And,
Okay.
they were both level at 15, and it just scared the hell out of me. And of course, they decertified me.
Yeah.
And I was visibly shaken because I missed the read back.
Yeah.
And it took me, maybe 3 weeks. They put me through training again, and then I went down and started getting over, continuous over the shoulder. And I couldn't get it out of my head. And one morning, went in for the early to 7. Well, that's all I ever worked in Chicago was 7 to 3s. And it took the first break, and I thought, what the hell am I doing here? I said, they're just airplanes. My inner voice. And I went back, and I told the supervisor, and he had been the one that had decertified me. And I said, I'm ready for a check ride. And he said, what happened in the last 30 minutes? I don't know, I just had a conversation with myself. And then it was, I never had that feeling again.
Yeah. It's not a very good feeling. I know that. When I was working up in Chicago Center, I was working Fort Wayne, and I had a westbound departure. It was an itinerant aircraft, twin, going westbound, actually northwestbound, probably about a 310 out of Fort Wayne. And I had eastbound traffic at 15,000 coming into Fort Wayne on the airway. So the eastbounder was on about a 90 heading, on eastbound at 90, and the climber would have been northwestbound, probably 310. I'd issued the clearance, Fort Wayne, direct Monon, direct something, and I had to issue it through Flight Service Station because at the time Fort Wayne approach wasn't open yet, and based on the spacing and degrees of divergence, I just gave the climb to flight level 230 to this aircraft. Even though I had the eastbound at 15, I knew that there wasn't going to be any problem. Well, Fort Wayne issued the clearance direct Menon, direct wherever he was going, which was going to take him westbound directly into the face of my traffic, which I didn't know. I thought I had like separation like this. Well, this aircraft came out climbing. He reports on the frequency, climbing to flight level 230. I got the eastbound at 15,000, and I give him. I still don't see him because I don't have radar yet. And I said, when I do see him, I see he's leaving 14,000, and they're like head on. And I give radar contact, I turn him north immediately to a 360 heading, and I tell the eastbound guy turn south, a 180 heading immediately, and issue traffic to both of them. And then I come back to the northwestbound traffic, and I said, you're supposed to be going direct such and such. And he goes, no, I'm going direct this other fix. And that shocked me, because Flight Service Station was the one that cleared him incorrectly. And the intersection that he gave me was right along that J70 down, or eastbound, along the wet corridor. So put him right head on with that aircraft. And I could tell you, when I stood up, I could have taken that chair with me. There was such a vacuum there. My insides turned upside down. It was just a horrible feeling. And then, of course, got relieved and had to go through all this explanation. It took about 2 days. Finally, I got back on the boards, and we found out that it was the Flight Service Station. And long story short, they had issued a clearance that put him head on with that traffic, and my clearance was putting him out northwestbound. There was no conflict with, had he have been given the correct instructions by Flight Service Station. So, but no harm, no foul. They were close. They were pretty close. They saw each other go by, and that stuck with me a very, very long time. I had apprehensions every time I sat down to Fort Wayne, and if their radar went out down there, and we took over their airspace, it was kind of iffy for me to be working over there. I didn't like it, but you move on, right?
Yeah, you do. You're familiar then why that happened, because O'Hare owned 15 and down.
Yeah, well, we gave away, remember, we gave away 16,000 in west at Goshen, so that they had the dump box there,
Yeah.
going in over Chicago Heights plant.
Well, I worked the south area, so with the way the sector boundary came, when they'd get the southbound guys going, Peatone and however they were going to split out.
Yeah, I worked that south outs too, Gary, and we would cut those wet jets across those inbounds coming in over Boiler there. I mean, up from Indy, remember? They'd be descending, and we'd have the data block up, and we would just cut in, whether they were to get over the top of them or go under. If we're going under them, we tell the heights we're going under and give them the data block. If we're going over them, we would just cut over and go on top of them.
Yeah, everybody has this story they think they've heard about Chicago air traffic, and a lot of it is from what they hear on the news media. And then people ask you what you do and where you worked, and oh, what's it like there? And I have a tremendous amount of respect for the people that were there when I was there in the 90s, the people before the Archie Leagues, if you will.
Did you know Poopsie, a guy, red hair? Did you know Forrest Zeal?
Yes.
And he was my supervisor when I was there. And so was J.R. Bartles when I got put over in the South area. Junior Bartles was one.
I think Pope.
Oh yes. Oh man, Jim Pope. That is a big dude, man. I saw him in Las Vegas one time. He came walking up to me. He says, "I knew you were here." And I said, "Why is that?" "Because I know your voice anywhere." I was at a craps table. And when I play craps, I'm very loud. He says, I just had to come over and verify that it was you, but I knew that voice. You're shooting craps, and the whole casino hears you.
He got pissed at me because I give a lot of people nicknames.
Yeah.
And, Southerners do that, and I grew up in South Denver. But he got pissed at me one day, and he said, "Don't you ever call me that again." And I called him Two-Tone.
Oh, my.
And I think there was a football player for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Too-Tall Jones.
Two-Tone. Yeah. And so he and I didn't get along, so I asked for a supervisor change, a crew change. And So Mike Debb was my
Mike
supervisor.
Debb, oh my goodness. I used to ride motorcycles with Mike.
Yeah,
We went up to Dells, Wisconsin and camped out, us and our girls. We hung out for a night, took the ferry and everything. Mike Debb was awesome. I believe that he was up at the academy for a while too.
yeah. He was there when I went there. I don't remember whether it was when it was after I retired. I went there the first time when Fred and I were there together. And then when I retired, I went there, and Mike was there, and the F5 tornado in '99 went about a half mile from his house.
Oh, wow.
And it was about, maybe 2 miles south of where I built my house. I didn't go down there till 2005. But he was, just Mike.
Did you know Bill Plash?
Billy Plash.
Bill, yeah, he was a supervisor for a while, and then he got into a car accident that killed him. He was I believe he was either following his wife or his wife was following him, and he leaned out in a lane too far to go around somebody, and he got into, I believe it was a head-on collision.
Yeah, I didn't know him real well, but
He was a character, real good guy. So was Dick
in fact, I
Benningfield?
think
Did you know Richard Benningfield? Dick Benningfield?
no, I don't believe I did.
Anthony Sabino, Tony Sabino?
I didn't know a lot of guys other than the South area, and there were some people in the East area.
Clyde Campbell?
First year I went to Chicago, I went there in September, and Ron Popper was the deputy, and who was a little short guy was the chief. I can't remember who.
Well, we had
But
Bacon, Doug French was my assistant chief, and Bacon, somebody Bacon was the chief.
I'm trying to see here. Ron Popper was the deputy, and I can't remember the chief's name. Anyway, it was Halloween day, and I came to work, and these people were all wearing different costumes. And I didn't realize it was a Chicago Center tradition. And they came in dressed as the Blues Brothers.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Well, Gary, seeing you worked up in Chicago, and I did too, there's one thing that I'll never forget is working those pushes. There was kind of a harmony going on between all the controllers, anybody in that line, whether you were working stuff coming in over Pullman Suds, or if you were working stuff coming in over Fort Wayne Goshen Heights. Everybody was kind of in harmony with each other, It just worked so seamlessly. You didn't have to look at somebody and tell them to do this. Everything just kind of flowed so nicely. We all knew what we were going to do, how we were going to handle it. And anything that came up that was out of the ordinary, very easy, an electric over to somebody, and they go, okay, I got that, keep going this way or that way. Just very smooth operation. You could push a ton of planes through that. And all you have to do is worry about whether you're going to go in the hold or not. So.
Oh, yeah. And I can remember in the South area, we'd have jets going into Midway, and we had to get below the Fort Wayne Goshen traffic, and it was hammered in my head. You do not let these guys have discretion. You can get them down.
I didn't know a discretion clearance till I came to Houston Center.
Yeah. Well, I can remember once in Fort Worth, I was working Dallas High, and there were some traffic coming to Houston, and one was going to Hobby, one was going to Bush, and I called the controller in Houston, and I said, you want me to move this guy over here and do this and set him up? And the Houston controller says, no. He said, I'll take care of him. And he ended up having a deal.
Was that me?
4-0.
Did he give, if he gave direct, it was Fred.
But I seem to remember that.
And they were pretty tough on Fred because we talked about it on the line. And I could not understand
Fred?
why they did. Yeah, I could not understand why management did that, because that's what controllers are supposed to do. You know, can I help you with this? This I think is going to be a problem. No, I'll take care of it. Your control. And you know, and you do what you're supposed to do.
I mean, the number one priority for handoff is make sure you've cleared up all deals, all conflicts, you know? You don't give somebody a deal, so you
Okay,
take care of it.
Stuart, these old guys have been upstaging you. You want to speak up? You can't be shy.
Stuart, you don't feel left out, do you?
No, I'm good listening to your stories.
You got one sitting in your back pocket?
Well, when you guys were talking about your, how do I want to say it, emotional times after you have something real, scary or bad happen, especially when you're responsible for it. I remembered my very first crash that I worked after I got to be a FPL back then. In those days we called it CPC now. But I was working the sector south of Lambert, south of St. Louis, and a guy in a Cessna is flying in marginal weather. There was pocketed thunderstorms around him, but he was flying VFR and navigating visually through the weather systems. And then about 15 or 20 miles south of St. Louis in the center airspace, he calls me up and he said he's having a prop overspeed. What that means in a Cessna like that is his engine's losing oil and he's about to go down. So he had already looked at the chart and asked me about this airport that he could go to. It was about 15 or 20 miles ahead of him. And I looked at my radar and I could see there was active weather over the airport. And we had center radar wasn't the best weather display, but it had something. And you could see there was weather in that area. And he had just flown past a small regional airport. I can't even remember the name of it anymore. Right off of Interstate 55, about 20 miles south of St. Louis, about 10 miles outside the radar ring, I should say, St. Louis airspace. So I suggested that instead, and he agreed that that was a better idea. So I turned him around, grabbed the chart, notified my supervisor about the emergency, opened up the chart, started reading the runway length and direction and ILS. I had only been an FPL controller for probably 2 months, maybe less, and here I am already dealing with life and death. I mean, that's what we were looking at, right? So he's coming into this little airport, and I'm working about 15 other airplanes. We were holding in for Lambert, so I had the Air 8281, which is the McDonnell Douglas executive airplane, and a bunch of other commercial aircraft and I was still feeding Lambert like I was supposed to and trying to give this guy direction. And then he disappears off the radar. He was still 3 or 4 miles from the airport, so I was concerned. So I had a couple airplanes checked for ELT, no ELTs, but a Cessna 172 in those days, probably wouldn't have had one anyway. So supervisor relieved me from the position, and I went down to the break room, and that's where I had my moment where I was asking myself, I was 23 years old, I hadn't been a controller on my own for very long, and I thought, man, how do I go back? How do I go up and face that again? And right about that time, my supervisor, Gary, you probably remember him, Rich Little, my supervisor came down to the break room and found me, and I'm sitting there with a cup of coffee, and he walks up and he says, well, I wanted you to know High Patrol called, and your airplane busted below the clouds and landed on Interstate 55. So
that was a good feeling.
And then 10 minutes later, I went back upstairs and went to work. But there was definitely a period there where I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it. The next day, the pilot called me to thank me, called me at the center to thank me for everything I did for him, or tried to do for him. And he said, He said the accident was, or the landing was a little exciting, but he said you should have seen the look on the guy's face of the Honda Civic that I rear-ended. He said when that propeller came through his back window, he wasn't real happy, but.
Oh, my goodness.
So no harm, no foul, though. Everybody walked away. So, but anyway, didn't have too many of those. Didn't have too many crashes. Just worked a few, but.
Well, I don't mean to upstage any of you guys, but I was in a deal, but I was in the airplane. And it was about 3 months after the strike, and I'm up in New York to see my kid, and now we're coming back, and I'm in a TWA TriStar. And two captains, and we're going, I guess we work in Indianapolis over an area called Woodstown or Woodstock or something. And I mean, you know, center guys always like looking out the windows because we never see out windows. So it's always cool to see the traffic. And I'm listening to this controller, and, you know, I said to myself, I don't like the way he's working. But, yeah, we're up at 39,000. He turns us, doesn't give us any traffic, sends us direct. And he turns us, doesn't give any traffic, sends us direct. Then he starts us down. And he was starting down, he started us down to 33. And he's trying to slow us down. Up at those altitudes, you can't slow down too much. Okay. Now we're starting down. And I got the headset on, and all of a sudden I hear him tell some T-way traffic to turn 180 degrees left. That's a big turn. And he didn't issue any traffic. And then I hear him call us and tell us to turn 180 degrees. Doesn't call traffic. Oh, now I'm looking up out the windshield, and I see this 727 down low in the windshield, not moving. And if traffic's not moving,
It's coming at you.
you're on a good intercept.
Yep.
And I yell, 2 o'clock low coming at us. And they see it. They look over, they see it. And they take the yoke, kick it to the left, and we dive. I'm figuring somebody's meal is up on the ceiling at this point. And, you know, there's going to be some really, you know, strong conversations about this. And once we were convinced we miss him, and he didn't issue traffic, okay? You know, and, you know, the right seat says, damn controllers, you know, and, you know, he blamed it on the strike.
Oh, wow.
And I put it in my report after we got back, and they gave me the report back and told me to take it out. And the worst person that a controller can be with after any of these situations, and I'm sure you guys can attest to it, is yourself. Because you're always armchair quarterback. Should I have done this? Should I have done that? You know, you think about what you did. But I don't think there's too many guys that can say, well, I was in the airplane when we had this. Yeah. Yeah, I think I went through 2 pairs of underwear that day.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Gentlemen, you got anything else for us?
Unless you have any questions, I don't, you know most. Well,
I don't
you
see
know
anybody,
some of my
I don't see
stories.
anybody chiming in on chat. There's no questions from the chat room, so it's been a pleasure having you guys on. I hope that we get to see you again, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel. Share it with your friends. See if any of your friends want to come out and join us for a little repartee about air traffic. We do a little hangar flying. Maybe we can get a group together up there, and we could travel up and film some of you guys with your stories. Just let us know, okay? You know how to get a hold of Fred.
Right.
So if Fred knows how to get a hold of you, I'm sorry about that. But those are the way things work. But it's been great having you on, guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe and learn to love one another out there, okay?
All right.
See you.
Thanks,
You guys.
Trevor.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, Fred. Bye,
Appreciate it.
Gary.
So,
Bye. See you. Bye.
All right, here we are back at FlightAware, and you can see the airspace over Mar-a-Lago is well, it's still busy in the South Florida area, but I don't know what's going on over there. I guess they got the guy, right?
Oh, yeah, they killed him.
Oh no, really? They killed him?
Well, he pointed
Oh, well,
a
he pointed gun.
shotgun
Yeah,
at
okay.
them.
Well, that's it. Then you're toast.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted to commit suicide. But this is a very good time right now for us to bring up information about what we have for merchandise in our store. Okay. So over here, you'll see. Let me get this wire out of the way. We have these fabulous T-shirts. We have them in white. We have them in black, and we have them in all sizes, small, medium, large. They have this great logo. I don't know why our logo is getting pixelized. There we go. Maybe we could take that out somehow. But we also have our coffee cups, and if you're like Fred, you can get your work experience printed on the back of your coffee cup, so that while you're drinking coffee, your friends that are sitting across from you can enjoy or read about your career. We also have these fabulous coasters, and on the coaster we have our little QR code, so your friends could click on that and see the channel. It'll go right to the channel, and they can see exactly what is that. On the bottom of this, you can have where you worked. I have ZHU and ZAU. And then last but not least, we also have luggage tags that I do not have an example of, but we also have this great booklet that you can pick up. All you have to do is go to our webpage and click on the items, and we will gladly send them to you. So Fred, you got anything else for us?
No, I think that was enough and interesting
Yeah.
to learn about.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you all for joining us and sharing your time with us. I hope you got some delight out of our experiences in air traffic control. We look forward to hearing your comments and seeing your information. And we're going to have our UPS 6 up very soon. I know the editor, Larry Wimberly, has been working very, very diligently on making that an amazing documentary about Rich Phillips controlling this UPS aircraft that the batteries ignited out of Bahrain, so at 35,000 feet. So looking forward to that story. Well, you all take care, learn to love one another. And
The next 2 weeks, you're on.
oh yeah, I leave next Saturday. I'll be in the UK. I'll be directing a movie, a horror movie called Werewolf Tracker. I'm looking forward to that. I was on the phone most of the day yesterday with the DP going over a lot of the scenes. And I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to meet these people. I've never really worked with them other than now working on Zoom with the script. So let's see how this turns out. I think it's going to be an amazing ride. So y'all take care again.
You're going to do the podcast.
I'm going to try to do the podcast from the UK on Sundays. We'll see. We'll see if I got a good connection up in Lancashire, England. All right. So nothing else. You guys take care. Like I said, learn to love one another, and we'll see you next Sunday. Please watch our channel, like, subscribe, and share. Bye, y'all.
Have a good week.